Oh my goodness. So my throat is giving me issues today. I wanted to talk to you guys about something that kind of realized, and I've spoken about it before, but I just kind of thought to myself because there's been a lot of decluttering going on. I don't know if I shared with you guys. My grandma fell recently. She ended up with multiple fractures. As a result of that, it's been very stressful for my family. And there's been a lot of decluttering of our home because, as you can imagine, if you're 90 years old or something, right, you have a lot of stuff. You have a lot of, let's say, pieces that you've collected, clothes, and it's gotten to a point where they just want to make her life very, very simple. So as a result, there's been so much donation, so much decluttering, so much going through family pieces, pictures, that kind of stuff, making sure nothing unnecessarily is getting donated. And it's made me kind of realize like some pieces, they've lasted the test of time, other pieces, they haven't. So, for instance, right, if you keep a plastic bowl inside of a cabinet, and let's say it's on the top cabinet, you might think, oh, okay, everything's going to be fine. It's going to be good for, let's say, 15 years. You forget about it. Now, when that bowl is taken down from the cabinet, what do you have? You have maybe, a dust in there. Maybe some bugs went in there. Maybe you have maybe the plastic just got brittle. So when you grab the bowl, it could just shatter in your hand. And it kind of made me think to myself, right? Because I've been decluttering over here too, where I live. And I was looking at some of the faux flowers that I have. And the faux flowers that I have, they're at least 15 years old, but some of them are honestly disintegrating. So when you deal with fake floral, this is what I'm talking about. This might be boring to some people, but let me just talk to you guys about this. So what it is that you got, let's say, orchid heads, right? You got orchid heads, which is basically like some kind of like polyester or some kind of synthetic material stuck on a base. So these heads can be removable. The problem is that if you've had it for a number of years, the plastic gets brittle and then it starts just falling off. So when I was looking at some of the fake flora that I had, I thought to myself like, holy crap, the petals are actually falling off the stem because the plastic is so brittle. So I went to glue gun it. And I know people would say, well, just buy another one. Here's the thing. With these kind of faux florals, I cannot buy an exact replica of the one that I had before. So if I really like it, the specific piece, it's better for me to repair it than it is for me to go out, go to these places, trying to find an exact, height, color kind of thing. It's just kind of like a pain in the ass. So I just repaired it. And then I got to thinking, because my grandma's place, right? My grandma is 90 years old. She has a few, not a lot, just like a few pieces that it's just like you can tell it's probably at least 40 years old. And one of the pieces she has is floral. So let me go ahead and show you this. So this is what you can find at Michael's. It is, well, this one's kind of pricey. They have like premium faux floral. And see, faux floral, you can find this stuff at Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. This kind of stuff usually goes for about, like if it's a faux floral, depending on how good it is, I've seen it anywhere from $6 to $20. There's high-end ones. Those go for a couple hundred. You can usually find that on Nordstrom. I don't have any of the high-end pieces. But the Chinese really love flowers. And as you guys know, if it is something like 200 years ago, there is no way they had plastic during that time. There's no way that they had polyester, right? Because polyester and plastic are relatively new. I think plastic was made around 1950s or so, but I could be wrong. Now, what did the Chinese do? Let me show you this. Chinese, they made these faux florals using stones. Yes. So you look at this, right? This is some quality stuff. See? If you look at it closely, it's made out of jade. It's made out of, all sorts of stuff. I'm not good with identifying my stones. I just know that when I look at the workmanship, the leaves, the carving, this takes way more labor than it takes for something like this. I mean, like, this is some mass produced Chinese stuff. I mean, I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I'm just saying, right? So you look at this, you look at the way it's made, you can see that someone had to individually carve this stuff, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Now, you can see the final bid for this was $275. I don't know the pricing for these jade trees, but you can also see that when you look at this, it has a cloisonne pot. So a cloisonne, you see that ramen looking noodle thing, for lack of better description? The way it's done, from what I understand, is it's like they got these like little metal pieces. Kind of think about like like an outline, right? And then they make the outlines and then they paint through it. So it's not like they just rubber stamp it. It takes more intricacies. It takes like, hand painting. It's really something. So I really think cloisonne is really pretty. And this piece in itself, I don't know how old it is, but I will say I think it will last like 50, 60 years, and you don't need to whip the glue gun out. Here's another piece as well. So this, again, this ended at $275. This is a $650 jade rose quartz cloisonne pot. See the ramen noodles on the bottom? Some Chinese person who's into antiques, I don't think they're going to see my channel because I only have like 100 views a video now. But some person will be like, oh my God, Erica, ramen, yeah. So, when you look at this, right, you can see all the details. You see the different stone flowers over here. I don't know what stone there is over here. One is like rose quartz, but there is a lot of work. See, so it's like a bunch of stones wired together, wrapped together, carved, and then you put it in a pretty pot. See this? See that? This is not like easy machine made. It's not like you press a button and then this is all put together. This is a lot of workmanship. And then here's the pot as well. See this? See that little stenciling over here? It's a gorgeous piece. Like, geez, I saw this and I was like, man, I kind of want to get it. $650, but I know someone's going to hear about it and be like, oh my God, Erica, really? This is overpriced. So I don't know too much about this, like, rose quartz kind of thing to justify if this is a good deal or not. I think it's kind of high, but then again, I haven't really seen too much of this kind of jade flower sort of thing. I've seen a few of them in thrift stores, but I've also seen people pick this stuff up. I've also never seen it this beautiful. The pieces that I have seen look kind of basic, for lack of a better word. Now, what I mean about basic, I'm talking about it's more like this, It's like this. It's just like a few pieces. It doesn't look nearly as grand as this piece. So if I saw a piece, right? Oh, wait, what else have I seen? I've seen the bonsai ones, too. Yeah, so I've seen these before. They're like the little stones. See this? I've seen these. But I don't think it had the little cloisonne kind of pot on the bottom. I like this one because it's kind of matchy-matchy. But between this one and this one, like, this one is more of an eye, like, it catches your eye way more, right? So, again, plus side about these pieces is although they are $225 or $300 or $600, this is a piece I feel very confident in saying that it will last a long time. I feel that this is a piece that when you look at it, you'll appreciate it every day. And I'm not shilling this stuff, but I'm just commenting that this stuff will not disintegrate as easily as like a full floral piece. I've had multiple full floral pieces over the years. And after a while, they just look kind of ratty. Like, even if you keep them away from direct sunlight, it's like the curl for the flowers kind of, it doesn't stay as tight, for lack of a better word. Like, I like, let's see, like, yeah, some of them, like, the colors start fading, and it's just like deterioration over the years. But something like stone, you really can't mess around with that because the stone is way more than a couple hundred years old, right? So this is a website that I check out pretty often. It's called First Dibs, and I like it because I like looking at the workmanship over here. Now, some of these pieces, I know people will be like, oh my gosh, here it goes, $7,000, $690, $1,800. I like looking at the workmanship because then I get a good gauge of like if I do see this stuff in person, then I feel like I could say, okay, this might be something. This might be something that I might want to pick up. But again, very, very, very rarely will I find a piece that really stands out to me in a Goodwill or in a Savers, because there are also resellers in those stores, right? So if they see a piece that looks like this, there's a high chance that they're gonna take it themselves. They're not gonna let it go. They're gonna be like, oh wow, we can see the detailing over here. We can see that this wasn't made 300 at a time. It looks a lot more like it takes more time to carve something like this than it does just to have a plastic mold. Not my style, you guys, but I'm just talking about this because I think it's very important for people to focus on workmanship when they do pick up pieces. It's not just like, oh, a trend item. This is like, when you look at it, you're like, dang, look at all that. Look at all the folds. Look at all the little scales over here. I don't know what the base material is, but it's $5,200. Okay, here we go. Copper alloy. So this thing must be heavy. This is not plastic. And there are some people who are really good at antiques. I'm not very good at antiques. I just know, like, hey, if it looks pretty, if it looks like it's a genuine stone, if it looks like there's wood carving, then I'm interested in it. So this is another carved piece. This is a rosewood base over here. I think I've told you guys, right? If you guys do decide to pick up anything, make sure that make sure you have a wooden base on it. See, like this one? Because if it doesn't have like a wooden stand, if you do want to have it as like a showcase piece where you live, it's not going to look as good. It's going to look like some freaking Chinatown cheap stuff. And I only say that because like I've seen like plastic knockoffs. And yeah, you can tell it's plastic because of how it feels. And yeah, you can kind of, yeah, it's like, and if you look closely, you might also see signs that it is plastic as well, like little air bubbles and things like that. So something like this, right? Nice piece. You can see there's a lot of carving. So this was one giant piece, and then they went at it like with a chisel, and then they carved the birds and carved the flowers. I can't do that. Okay, so whoever made the workmanship, I think it's a really great thing that their piece will outlast them, possibly, right? If they worked on this piece for, let's say, a couple months or so, or a week, I don't know how long it takes to make a piece like this, but however long it took, when the person who made this piece passed away, their piece still exists in the world and it's still appreciated. With that kind of thinking, that's why I think it's very good to have collectibles. And just, if you have a piece that's like 100 years old or 200 years old or 300 years old, it's a testament to how great the craftsmanship of the individual or individuals were at the time to make that piece. And I think it's really such an honor to come across a piece like that. And if you can afford it, then that's great too. So these kind of pieces, the small pieces that I was talking to you guys about, you really need to put it on a nice stand. Vases, see all these wooden stands. You don't want to put it on a plastic tray. Okay, so for instance, right, if you have any antiques, even if it's not expensive antiques, right? I'm not talking like everybody needs to have $1,000 base, right? But if it looks to be expensive, or if it looks kind of polished, it really would be beneficial to have a nice stand for it. So this is I'm sure this is heavy as hell. A big wooden stand. You can see it has these little areas that you put your stuff in, and the beautiful thing about this stand is you're kind of limited by putting what you can in there. You can't put like 50 items on the stand because then it will throw off the harmony, right? So I feel like a lot of Chinese homes, when they do this kind of aesthetic, they have to think, what really matters? What are the pieces that you want the eye to look at? So you're not just buying every little Chinese antique you can. It's like you have to think like, okay, I got to stand for it. What are the pieces that I want to put in here? Okay, I'll put this like pair of statues on the left, pair of food dogs on the right, and then I got my, square vase over there. It's nice. But again, the stand is about $3,000 by itself, and I know it's going to be super heavy. I'm just showing you guys this because I think it's really pretty. So if you have a stand like this, what could you put on here? You could put on a pair of birds. These are $4,300 birds. Unsurprisingly, you look at it, what does it have? It has a wooden stand. See that? Expensive pieces, in my opinion, have wooden stands. That's just the way that I see this stuff. So, see that? Isn't that pretty? I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. And the beautiful thing about this is that when you see this piece, you know for a fact they didn't buy it from Michael's. You know, it's not dime a dozen, $20 piece. It just looks really pretty. And it's unique. You know, you're not going to be able, chances are you'll never find another person who has the same kind of $4,000 birds that you do. And I'm just talking to you guys about that because I think there's such beauty in having, let's say, what you feel to be unique pieces, and that way your home doesn't look so dime a dozen kind of thing. If you look at some of these like Michael's thing, let me show you guys this one. Michael's inspiration. Let's look at this. Frickin' website. Hold on. Oh. Let's see. Where's the inspiration? You'll see the huge difference in what I'm talking about. So if you type in this thing, website's not going for me. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Let's see, classes, videos, project. Let's see, home. If you look at a lot of this Michael stuff, I used to love Michael's a lot, but now I'm very selective because see, a lot of this stuff, okay, look at the picture over here. Inspiration comes in every color. You see this stuff? A lot of this stuff looks like garbage. It looks like crap. It just looks so mass produced, and I don't think a lot of this stuff has taste if it has like words all around. This makes me sound extremely mean, but I've kind of reached this point where I just said like this is like the word stuff is not going to be collectible. You know, if you pass away, people might be like, okay, I don't really want to live, laugh, love pillow, right? They're gonna be more inclined to say, you know what? I want so-and-so's like antique birds instead. And this is like, this piece will last so much longer than any of these kind of like crap canvas, plastic, you know, stuff. See this stuff? A lot of this stuff, like some of the pieces on Michael is not bad, but then others of it, it's just like all this like raw honey, whatever that is. This stuff, like I just think it looks so cheap, and it's not that cheap to buy this stuff sometimes, because it's like they'll be like, oh, okay, you know, you want to buy this like thing, it's like $20, $30 at a time, and then you look at it and you wonder how come your place just looks so generic and so cheap. It's probably because you're buying that kind of stuff. So instead of buying word stuff, right, instead of Camp More, or you know, live, laugh, love, or you know, happiness is within the home, I would say go for workmanship. You know, have pieces that are that are beautiful, and then you can have them stand alone. So when you have a piece like this, right? Wait, where is it? If you have a piece like this, it's just like, whoa. And then if you have an empty space for it, right? Like an empty shelf, and you got these two birds on it, it's just like, wow. Like those look really good. So I was looking at other stuff too. See vases over here. See this? Chinese porcelain marks. I can't read Chinese, but I kind of want to go down the rabbit hole of trying to understand some of these marks. Just because I'm curious. You know, I don't think I'll find any of it. I don't think I can. I think I could have something valuable and I'd be like, oh, I don't know. But again, I rarely, seldomly ever see vases on sale at any of the stores, because the vases are getting scooped up by collectors and resellers. And this is a vase over here. Look at this. So this was sold for about $1,500 in 1954 Sotheby's sales, and then it most recently sold for $9 million. Now the way you tell that this is expensive is that you see all the puka, what the freaking Hawaii thing? You see all the holes in this over here. See all the holes? That's how you know it's super. It's like it takes more labor to do that kind of stuff. At least that's what I perceive it to be. And then you also see like if you look on the side, you got these like nice little golden looking handles. I don't really see too many vases of that. And then you got that, remember the ramen noodle stuff that I was telling you about, that little cloisonne kind of thing? Yeah, ish kind of thing. So yeah, all this stuff, all this kind of like outlining, coloring, hand painting stuff, it all adds up. So if you see a piece that the more ornate it is, the more kind of bougie it looks, chances are it's more expensive. I can't tell you what the difference, like I can't differentiate, this is just me, between a real authentic like antique and a reproduction, because as you guys know, right, there are still people in China making these vases, because you can imagine there's not too many 400-year-old 300-year-old vases out there, and there's more households that appreciate this kind of stuff, but they just simply can't afford to drop $9 million or $200,000 on a vase. So if you do buy a vase, any vase, okay, any antique vase, be mindful that it could be a reproduction. It might not be 50 years old. It might actually only be 10 years old, or it could just be something that was made as recently as 2 weeks ago, shipped from China kind of thing. But yeah, so I'm not collecting vases thinking that everything's gonna be 200 years old or 50 years old. I just want to collect vases that I find are be pretty, and I don't want to spend more than $400 for a vase. If I find a vase at a Savers or Goodwill or garage sale, I'm gonna be more tempted. I'm gonna be more into buying those kind of pieces, because I think that I'm gonna think like, hey, this is a piece that was donated by someone, or the family wanted to get rid of it, and I would like to rehome that piece. But I haven't found any vases that I want. I haven't gone out of my way to say, okay, I need to grab this and this and this. So although I've been talking about this stuff, I have collected 0 vintage pieces since all this conversation. I'm on the lookout though, okay? So if I come across something that looks like this, I'm going to pick it up if I see it for like $30 in the thrift store. I'm going to be like, oh, okay, I think this is going to be my little jade rose quartz kind of thing, my little Chinese vintage flower thing that I want to have. And I'm not planning to let go of those pieces until I pass away. I mean, like, I really want to curate. So all this stuff, right? So this is another thing over here. This is a home that it was hard for me to find a home that I wanted to show as like representation about the kind of aesthetics that I think is very balanced. So you'll see, for instance, right, you'll see a lot of empty surfaces. And I got a lot of inspiration from a person that I grew up around. This person is a neighbor of mine's, and she's been into antiques. One of the vases, I think I might have showed you guys this. Yeah, I did show you guys this. I have like a antique, I think it's like a Dutch vase or something like that. She gave it to me, and her home basically looks like this. It's just gorgeous, and she has a lot of like standout pieces. And I asked her, I said, how do you find these pieces? And she told me, she says she spends a lot of time in antique stores, and just hitting up things like Goodwill, Savers, and she's not in a rush to find these pieces. It just kind of comes her way, and then when she does find the piece, she puts them on display stand. So you see this bowl over here, you see how is that like display stand? I'm talking about the bowl standing to the left side of the TV. See that yellow bowl? So you don't have to buy an expensive bowl, okay? I don't want people thinking, oh, Erica's selling people to buy $4,000 bowls or expensive. No, you can go to a Savers. You can look into your own family antiques, and if you have like a beautiful like hand painted bowl, let's say your grandmother owned it, then go get a plate stand or a bowl stand and just clear a space out and just like tack it right in the middle. You see this negative spacing? You see all the like empty space? That makes the eye look at these pieces and then it looks so much more valuable that way. That's how museums are, right? Museums are not like just clutter, clutter, clutter. It has a lot of empty space, and that's why when you look at the museum piece, you can see the details. You can see like, oh wow, I can see there's a lot of engraving in here, a lot of workmanship in here, and that's the power of having less stuff, because then your eye can focus on the more beautiful stuff as well. So this is just kind of what I'm talking about. You can also see the horseshoe chairs over there. I think I might have told you guys, like I really want to get a pair of Ming style horseshoe chairs one day. But I want to buy an antique. I don't want to buy a reproduction. I don't know when those chairs will ever come my way, but I'm just putting it out there. And another thing that I want is I want a vintage. I want a. Well, I don't know if I can say vintage. I want a large jade piece. So this is something that's really something. Look at this. You remember the wooden stand? Look at the wooden stand. It has all this carving. Then you got carving in the jade. And the piece wasn't that expensive. Look at this. It was 16 inches long, has a wood stand, and it sold for $1,000. I don't think it's that expensive. Maybe because when I think about labor, I think $20 an hour labor, yeah, American standard, right? $20 an hour labor plus hand carving plus skill involved. $1,000 seems like a steal. You give me a piece of jade and then you give me this kind of stuff, like 50 hours later, I'm not gonna be able to carve on this detail, right? This takes years and years of skill, but it's a piece when you look at it, your eye will say, wow, this looks so beautiful. You know, this is something that you can really cherish. And if you were to give it away to your family member in the future, if you were to give it to your family member away in the future, they're gonna look at that piece and they're gonna say, wow, that took a lot of work. And as you guys know, right, jade does not disintegrate. So I'm not gonna say like, oh yeah, if you hold on to this piece for 50 years, in 50 years you're gonna have like a piece of crap. Like, no, it's not plastic. It's wood, and as long as it's kept away from termites, and I think this will last quite some time. And finally, I want to end this with this kind of giant boat thing. I saw something very similar to this once in my life. This person that owned a large piece like this, they were a multimillionaire. We're talking this person they were living in a $3 million home, okay? And I remember I saw a piece. I can't remember if it had like the stick on top, but I do remember it was like a large jade piece, like a boat. And I was just kind of, oh, I was like, holy crap, how often do I see large jade boats? But this person, they were very wealthy. They had they had a statue, I think, of Buddha that was about 5 feet tall and 3 feet wide. Just wooden carved, like a giant wooden carved statue, and huge, beautiful, beautiful place, like just gorgeous. I mean, I know I'm repeating myself, but it was just really something. And their stuff that they had inside, all of the stuff was quality items. So I'm not telling you guys, again, I'm not telling you guys like you guys have to buy $5,600 boats. But what I'm saying is that if you own a piece like this, you're going to look at it and you're going to see all the little details, all the little workmanship, all the little carvings, and you're going to know that a piece like this will last another 70 years. I don't know what the resale value about this stuff is, but yeah, see that? I wouldn't even know what to do. Like, if I found a 33-inch high carved jade dragon bolt in a thrift store for $300, I wouldn't even know what to do with it. I'd probably pass on it because I have no desire. I have no space to put a huge dragon boat. I'm not even into boats, but that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, there are sometimes you might see something that you like at a thrift store, or you might think like, oh, that's expensive, but you might pass on it because you'll say, I don't have space for it. Okay, it's made out of like a natural stone, but it's not really something that I want to have. Okay. So let's see over here. Yeah, you can buy the stands separately. So I recommend if you guys do buy any vintage vases, please, please, please buy a vintage stand. Buy a wooden stand that matches with it. There are Chinese antique stores. You will realize your piece looks so much more expensive with a wooden stand than without it. Let me see if I can find my wooden stand. Where'd my wooden stand go? Oh, here's my little thing. Yeah, so all these vases, so you can see the difference here. Let's find one with the wooden stand and one without. Okay, here. So you see the yellow ones? The yellow ones do not have, the yellow ones do have a little wooden stand for it. See? It's like perfect for it. Versus if you look at this one doesn't have a wooden stand. So aesthetically, when you look at it, what looks more expensive? The wooden stand or without the wooden stand? I would say the wooden stand. So just you can buy the wooden stand separately. Just be mindful that in case you have a piece and you wonder like how come it doesn't look anything special, just put the wooden stand underneath it. Let's see. I was looking at Imperial Mark vases. Let's see. Wooden stand vases. I'd be that person who would take an outline of my vase, like if I had a stand that needed a vase, and then bring it to a store or go on Amazon or, you know, buy it. Oh, let's see over here. See, so here's one example over here. See this? So the stands are not too expensive. See this? Here we go. Like beautiful hand hexagon rosewood. I think rosewood is a really good stand. Any of the dark woods like this one is also a good thing as well. Look at this one. $98 for the stand. So it can be pretty pricey. This one's nice though. I like this one. But then it has to match with your, whatever the color your furniture is, in my opinion. You don't want to have like one wooden stand. Ooh, this one's pretty. See this? Like that? Ooh. So if I had, let's say, two vases and they were the same vases, I would want to have two matching wooden stand vases. So I would get two of these, right? So my identical left vase could look identical to my right vase. So be mindful, right? You want symmetry. You want it to look balanced. You don't want to have it like kind of all disorganized, even with the wooden stand sort of thing. So, ooh, mic technique. My mic technique is all bad today. So overall, right? I hope that if you guys are thinking about this kind of thing, how's the minimalist thing going? Oh, it's moving along. It's moving along. It's just like I'm just making these videos because if you want to have a look like this, you cannot have branded crap around. You cannot have, let's say, a Dragon Ball Z figurine in this setup. You cannot have like Hello Kitty here. See, so this is all like a curated image, and it's really hard in my opinion because it's like you got to stick with something and then just like say, okay, I don't want too much clashing images. I don't want a picture of, let's say, Rilakuma over here, right? Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, right? Like you don't want Hello Kitty over there. You don't want Pachako over there. You don't want like Pikachu, like a Pikachu thing in here because it throws off the balance. And a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about being distracting, it's stuff that you've picked up right in the 21st century. So if you have a certain kind of look, try to stick around that time period. If you have, let's say, if you like something from like 1800s, if you're trying to go with that aesthetic, you will not be able to pull off 1800s plus Pokemon at the same time. It's going to look strange as hell. And it takes a lot of like thought and effort to do it. You got to stay within that time period. For example, right, if you watch like a Chinese drama, all the Chinese drama, hold on, let me pull this up. So Chinese drama will have something, stuff like this, right? But let's see. Let's see, Chinese historical drama. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Chinese historical dramas. So let's see here. What do you call it? Dynasty? I don't know what I call it. Okay, so like if you were trying to style your home looking like this kind of time period, right? You will not put freaking Bulbasaur statue in here, right? You're gonna have everything kind of like fall in line. Let's say Dynasty home. I'm trying to find the interior shots of these homes. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Something like, see this? Okay, here we go. Okay, here's a picture of two characters kissing. If you look in the background, wait, not that one, this one. What do you see in the background? You see empty space. You also see two matching lamps on the back. I don't know why the freaking lamps don't have a stand. I think it looks cheap without having a stand. But you can see, right? You got two lamps kind of balanced. They don't even look that pretty, these lamps. But yeah, one on the left, one on the right. So if you guys can get vases, go get them to be balanced. Two of the same vases would be a good like pair. I was looking at a lot of pictures of kind of like older Chinese homes because I wanted to get inspiration from them. Keep in mind, right? I also have a few pieces, so I have to think about how to make them, how to bring justice to them. Yeah, see, so you guys can't tell what the background is, but I think it's like a rosewood or some sort of wood jewelry box. Let's find over here. Oh, where is this? Yeah, Chinese architecture. Let me look at this. So whatever kind of vibe you're looking for, like try to have it all work out. Don't just like say, okay, I'll pick up one Chinese vase and like boom, my place will look Chinese. Like that's not it. Okay, see, so like something. Oh, here we go. Here's a good picture. So you can see, right? You see the vase in the back. It has its own single table. See that? And then we also got carved Chinese furniture over here. We got the trinket boxes over here. This is not really my style in terms of how heavy it is in wood because I'm not into like super a lot of dark wood left and right, but just giving you like an example over there, right? Everything kind of looks within the same time period. The aesthetics kind of flow quite nicely, and that's how it works. It's like if you try to go with like a certain time period piece, in my opinion, you don't want too many things that clash with it. Something from Michael's, like this like having lake life with that is not gonna work. It's gonna look like total crap, right? Oh wait, let me go to Michael's and let me buy this home porch sign, or let me put some wall decor about basil in here and then throw that in this shot. It just looks weird as hell. So I never realized this stuff for the longest time, and I kind of really struggled with it because I would say, how come this isn't working out? And I realized that I have to stay within whatever the aesthetic is, right? The time period. You cannot have cutesy and Apple Store at the same time. You have to just kind of go with like an Apple Store look. That's what I'm trying to get at, right? You gotta have everything flow. Where did the plushies go? That's the thing. The plushies can't stay in outside. It has to stay in its own room. So I think like I really love my plushies. I really love my figurines, but I can't have them. I have to have them in a separate room or a separate area because it's like you can't have like two. You can't have like a Pikachu plushie right on like a cabinet like this. It looks strange. It just kind of cheapens everything. So yeah, separate rooms for that. That's what it comes down to. So that is all I wanted to say today. And I think overall, I think some people might think I've become more and more bougie, but truly, I just want pieces that when I pass away, I can rehome. I can give it to people that I love and care about. It can go through the family, that kind of stuff. And pieces that I feel that I don't have to throw away just because they're falling apart. I don't want to chase trends anymore. I want something that has classic look to it. I don't want to find myself having to go from style aesthetic to style aesthetic to style aesthetic. And for me, right, it's so tiring to have to chase trends. You know, it's so tiring to say, okay, well, now the whole thing is like, let's say, shabby chic. And then after shabby chic, you got minimalistic, you know, sleek, modern lines. And then after that, you got maybe some kind of cutesy lake house look. It's just like, it's just exhausting. And that's why you see me kind of falling into this aesthetic, because what I want ultimately is, as I get older, I want to just have an aesthetic that I find it's kind of like idiot proof. You know, I want to be that person where then when they become older, they say, okay, you know, I still have my little vase that I bought when I was like 40 years old, and I love that vase every day. And if I kick the bucket, I'm sure someone in my family will want that vase. So I want to have things that I feel confident in, that if, let's say, family, friends, loved ones don't want it, I know it'll have a good chance of getting rehomed. And for me, right, I feel like a vase, I feel like a vase has more appeal, or like something like this has more chance of getting picked up and getting rehomed into another home in the future than lake life poster, or lake life sign, or you know, a picture of paddles, things like that. How will all these pieces in this photo look like in 20 years? I think a lot of the stuff, almost all, I think all these pieces that you see in this picture, if someone wants to buy it today, all these pieces will be thrown away into our landfills. But a piece like this won't be. It really won't be, because people will pick it up and then they'll donate it. And I think that people will be less prone about throwing it in the trash when they see the workmanship behind it. So I'll talk to you guys later, and you guys take care. And yeah, I just hope that you guys really think about the purchases that you make. I hope that you guys don't follow whatever business, whatever, like, you know, these places are telling you to buy. Like, buy this, buy this, buy this. You know, make your own decisions. For me, right, I'm not buying stuff based on what Better Homes and Gardens is telling me. I'm buying stuff based on what I like. And the stuff that I like, there's not going to be a sale on the stuff that I like. It's not like I can go into Macy's and say, ooh, let me buy all the vases on sale. Like, there's no fun in that. I rather have a vase. Again, I rather have a vase that I look at it and I'm like, hey, you know, this had at least one owner. I really love the piece. Let me take care of it. You know, let me buy a wooden stand for it. Let me make sure that it gets the attention that it deserves. Let me make sure that when people see the piece, they can admire the craftsmanship put behind it. And I don't, yeah, that's why, like, for me, right, if I buy a piece, I'm not gonna be like, oh, look at this, I spent $2,000 on the piece. I want people, when they see the piece, to say, wow, that's a really pretty piece. Whoever made it, they must have spent a lot of time on the piece. So I mean, I'm not buying these birds, but this is just what I'm talking about. If you have a piece that does the conversation, that talks about it, it's a great way to honor a previous person's life, even if you don't know who they are, right? You can kind of say, like, hey, wow, someone actually had to harvest the stone, someone had to carve into the stone, and then someone had to make the wooden bases for it too, and it's in my possession. And you know, it's a really great way of just saying, like, wow, look at how great craftsmanship can be. Look at how beautiful things are when you have a combination of really good materials, wood and stone, combined with the creativity from human beings. I can't have a conversation like that over any of the Michael stuff. I can't. So that's why the Michael stuff, a lot of this stuff just like turns me off now. So a lot of the stuff that I had, right, that had like words on it, I just don't want it. And so yeah, if you guys follow my streams, again, I don't know when I'm gonna find a piece that I really really love. I got to be really selective, but whatever that piece is, know that I will highly appreciate it. And I'll probably do this like long stream about talking about, like, ooh, look at the craftsmanship over here. Look at the colors. Look at all the wire. Look at the little holes made on the flowers. Look at this, you know? See that? I really like this $650 piece. I think it's really pretty. It's so pretty. So well made flowers plus the pot looking very detailed from top to bottom. It has a lot of workmanship behind it. A lot of the times when I see pieces, sometimes like you'll see this is just an example. Like if you get faux flowers, sometimes the faux flowers will look really good, but then the base of the faux flowers, like if you buy it from Marshalls or TJ Maxx, it looks like absolute crap. So you might wanna, if you do decide to buy faux flowers, make sure you get really good faux flowers and make sure get a really good base. If your base sucks, just repot the faux flowers or just pull it out of the base if you can, and then put it into a better vase. Because then if you have something cheap, it's gonna just like cheapen the whole look. So that's why when I look at this piece, right, from top to bottom, I'm like craftsmanship, 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 craftsmanship. Okay, you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya. Oh, and let me know in the comment what you guys think, and if you guys have any beautiful vintage pieces, I know you guys will appreciate it, but yeah, just know it's exceedingly rare. I see vintage pieces, and I really hope all vintage pieces that have a lot of craftsmanship behind it, like a piece like this, gets rehomed. I hope that people don't throw it out into the landfill, but you guys know a good chunk of this kind of stuff has already gone in the landfill, right? People, if they're moving, they're like, I don't want to be bothered with donating this stuff. Let's throw it into the trash. It depresses me to think about that kind of stuff.